Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to this hastily called press conference today. As you're probably well aware, this morning, Court of Queen's Bench Justice Thomas granted our application for an injunction against Bill 46. This injunction suspends the Public Service Salary Restraint Act, which was passed last December. This decision also restores our members' rights to have an independent third-party arbitrator settle any bargaining dispute between AUPE and the Government of Alberta. Justice Thomas's decision to grant an injunction recognizes that it is not only our legislative rights, but our members' charter rights that are at stake. I have to stress that AUPE has never left the bargaining table. We have always kept the door open to fair and reasonable negotiations with the government, but we refuse to be strong-armed into accepting a bad deal. We have continued negotiating with the government while the temporary injunction was in place, and we will continue to negotiate with the government up to and throughout the arbitration process. The difference now is that we will be negotiating on a level playing field with a fair process in place to resolve any outstanding issues. We would prefer a negotiated agreement that we can take to our members so they can exercise their democratic right to vote on it, to accept it, or to reject it. But we cannot expect to reach a fair agreement with the threat of a legislative contract hanging over our heads. On a final note, I sincerely hope that the Government of Alberta reconsiders the position of Minister Thomas Lukaszuk. As the chair of the committee overseeing all public sector bargaining, this process was directly under his supervision. This aggressive, heavy-handed approach to bargaining was unfair, inflammatory, and has had added untold costs to the taxpayer. As the overseer of this approach to collective bargaining, one has to question the wisdom of his position as the Minister of Labour. His job as Minister of Labour is to be a neutral third party, balancing the interests of employers and employees. I don't see how it's possible for him to fulfill that role in light of this recent decision by Justice Thomas.